This week, Elon Musk and Donald Trump hosted the very first cabinet meeting of Trump's presidency, and, well, this is how it went.
So it's really, Doge is a support function for the president and for the agencies and departments to help achieve those savings and to effectively find 15% in reduction in fraud and waste. And we bring the receipts. So people say, like, well, is this real? Just go to doge.gov. We line item by line item, we specify each item. So, and I should say, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect, but when we make a mistake, we'll fix it very quickly. So, for example, with USAID, one of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola. Ebola. I think we all want Ebola prevention. So we restored the Ebola prevention immediately, and there was no interruption. But we do need to move quickly if we're to achieve a $1 trillion deficit reduction in financial year 2026. It requires saving $4 billion per day, every day, from now through the end of September. But we can do it, and we will do it. Thank you.
Hold on, let's talk about the simple fact that he used to defend himself that left many stunned. He said, "We won't be perfect, but when we make mistake we'll fix it very quickly." And then he drops this bombshell: "We accidentally canceled Ebola prevention, but don't worry, we fixed it." What? Wait, sorry, we canceled Ebola prevention efforts. No, sorry, we cancel efforts to stop the transmission of one of the deadliest diseases in the world. That's like saying, "Oops, I forgot to put out the fire in my kitchen, but don't worry, I fixed it before the whole house burned down." Everybody makes mistakes, right? Same shit with the Gaza condom. Who among us hasn't accidentally exacerbated the spread of a deadly contagion that could decimate the American population? Am I right? And this isn't even the only example. Let's talk about how Elon Musk and his team fired 350 employees at the National Nuclear Security Administration. They haphazardly let go of the people in charge of our nuclear arsenal and security. I'm sorry, but this isn't just an oopsies, as Elon frames it. This is a massive mistake with potential global ramifications. The fact that America is a nuclear superpower is why we've been able to preserve much of the post-World War II order. The implications of Elon crippling our nuclear capabilities are impossible to overstate. The executive director of the Arms Control Association said, "The new Doge coming in have absolutely no knowledge of what these departments are responsible for. They don't seem to realize it's actually the Department of Nuclear Weapons, more than it is the Department of Energy." But hey, Elon said they're going to make mistakes here and there. So, I guess as long as he apologizes, no harm, no foul, right? Elon and his team have also laid off veteran researchers working on cancer treatment, opioid addiction, prosthetics, and burn pit exposure. They've laid off 1,300 employees at the CDC, about 10% of the agency's workforce, a questionable choice in the aftermath of a global pandemic. Over 130 employees were let go at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, which oversees the nation's critical infrastructure, including federal efforts to secure election systems. Thousands of workers at the IRS, who are responsible for bringing wait times down to just 4 minutes on average during the Biden administration, thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, were also fired. 1,000 National Park Service employees who maintain and clean our parks were let go. Effectively, all Consumer Financial Protection Bureau employees who are responsible for returning $21 billion to hundreds of millions of consumers screwed over by predatory financial institutions were dismissed. And the list goes on and on. Of course, this is all under the pretense of cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. But here's the thing: the first line of defense against waste, fraud, and abuse is the inspectors general. And guess what? Trump decided to fire them right off the bat. You also wouldn't fire the inspectors general, quote. "From my experience working for 2 Democratic presidents, I can tell you that inspectors general are a headache for everyone." Why? Because they investigate every agency and find waste, fraud, and abuse. If Trump and Elon actually cared about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, they'd be taking the Inspectors General's report seriously and using them to address these issues. Instead, they've decimated the ranks of the Inspectors General, the very people whose job is to root out waste, fraud, and abuse day in and day out, 365 days a year. They got rid of 17 inspectors general in the first week. I think they just fired the 18th because they were mad at that one. If you are genuinely interested in fighting corruption, these are the people you be talking to. They're the ones actually doing the work. It's already beyond clear that what Elon and Trump are doing is massively disingenuous. But worse, the American people can see it too. According to the Washington Post and CNN, Musk having a prominent role in the administration is viewed as a bad thing by a 54-28 margin. A post-opposes poll showed Americans disapprove by a similarly wide margin, 52-26, of Musk shutting down federal government programs he deems unnecessary. 63% of Americans said they are concerned about Musk's team gaining access to their data, a subject of high-profile legal fights. Even 37% of Republican-leaning voters said they are at least somewhat concerned about Musk accessing their data, which raises the question, do these Republicans recognize that Elon is a liability for them? At the cabinet meeting, when officials proposed this question.
Thank you, Mr. Musk. I just wanted to ask you that President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if so, what are you doing to address those any dissatisfaction?
Please not let the cabinet speak just for a second. Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, we'll throw him out of here. A lot of respect for Elon and that he's doing this, and some disagree a little bit, but I will tell you, for the most part, I think everyone's not only happy, they're thrilled.
No one dared to speak out against Elon Musk. Why? Because Trump threatened to fire anyone who did. The meeting devolved into a frantic clapping fit. I've seen more discerning generals surrounding Kim Jong-un than what I just witnessed at that cabinet meeting. The reality is that Elon is an anchor around all of their necks. But because Trump wants him around, they've all tied themselves to the sinking ship. And of course, Trump won't push back against Elon because he's indebted to him. Elon gave him hundreds of millions of dollars in cash during the campaign, and now he's getting his end of the quid pro quo. This means hollowing out government agencies that were investigating, regulating, or fining him. It means privatizing agencies and enriching Elon's companies, who can then fill the void. It means allowing Elon to gain access to Americans' personal data that might help his AI company gain a competitive advantage. Trump and Elon will frame this as some selfless act of patriotism. But let me be clear, nothing these people do is selfless. They are deriving personal, professional, or financial benefits from everything. Sometimes it's obvious, as with meme coins. Other times, it's less obvious, like Elon rooting around in Americans' personally protected information. The people winning here are not Americans. It's not even Trump's base. It's the people at the very top, those who already hold most of the wealth and power in this country, seeking to consolidate even more of it. All of this is happening on the backs of Americans who are getting screwed over daily and who are increasingly aware of it. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And don't forget to like this video.